chasing echoes of what you never said. You held my hand, but not my soul. We danced around what made us whole. Blood promises wrapped in light felt like truth, but never right. I searched for you in every shade, but your love was made to fade. Your smile a curtain I couldn't see through, soft and sweet but never true. You said forever without a voice, left me standing with no choice. Your touch was warm but never stayed, a fleeting fire that slipped away. Blood promises in moonlit haze, words that vanished in your gaze. I tried to hold the shape of trust, but you turned it into dust. Now I sit with pieces of your face, a ghost that time cannot replace. The lines you cross won't disappear, still I wish you were sincere. Blood promises wrapped in light felt like truth, but never right. I searched for you in every shade, but your love was made to fade. You said forever like a song I sung, a soft goodbye hidden in your hello. Your hands held warmth, but your heart felt cold. I touched the surface, never reached the soul. Late night silence told me more than words, the way you paused like truth might burn. I played along with every scene, pretending I didn't see. There's fiction in your eyes, a story you can't rewrite. Pages filled with almost love, but never quite right. I believed your lullabies, but the ending felt disguised. Now I see the truth was hiding in the fiction in your eyes. Oh, oh, oh. Your voice was velvet with a thread of steel. You made me wonder what was fake or real. You smile like someone who had learned to lie, so well it even fooled the sky. I caught reflections in your stare, moments you were never really there. I tried to hold what wasn't mine, a love built on borrowed time. fiction in your eyes, a story you can't rewrite. Pages filled with almost love, but never quite right. I believed your lullabies, but the ending felt disguised. Now I see the truth was hiding in the fiction in your eyes. You held me close like the truth was safe, but your heartbeat gave another name. Soft words painted in silver haze, but I could feel the cold in your flame. You smiled like nothing was wrong, but shadows danced in your tone. I wanted to believe your song, but my soul knew it all along. Sweet lies wrapped in velvet tone made me feel like I wasn't alone, but every whisper hit a blade, cutting deeper where love stayed. You kissed me in fading light, left me with bitter nights. I traced your voice in the darkened air. Every echo felt like a dare. You said you loved me under the stars, but truth was locked behind your scars. You touched me like I was real, but your eyes refused to kneel. I danced on the edge of hope while you pulled me down a slippery slope. Sweet lies like a lover's spell wrapped around my fragile shell. You built dreams on shifting sand, then watch me break where I stand. You promised skies so bright, then left me in bitter nights. Now silence tells me more than your words. The quiet screams louder than I've ever heard. I still sleep on your side of the bed, but your ghost sings to me instead. Sweet lies wrapped in velvet tone made me feel like I wasn't alone, but every whisper hit a blade, cutting deeper where love would stay. You kissed me in fading light, left me with bitter nights. You said forever with your hands, but your eyes were tracing exits. I held the silence like a child, afraid to know what truth is. You kissed me like a memory, already turning cold. I felt your touch evaporate before your lips let go. I lived on half a heartbeat, waiting for yours to meet mine. You stayed just long enough to keep me in the light. Love should be louder than doubt, but you whisper when it mattered. Now I'm left with echoes of things we never said. You smiled like we were golden, but your soul was dressed in gray. I played along with every scene, ignoring what slipped away. You touched me like a habit, not like someone you chose. I counted every distance between the warmth and the cold. I loved with half a heartbeat, you gave the rest to the dark. what you couldn't say aloud. Now I'm learning how to breathe without chasing after ghosts, letting go of hollow hope and the rhythm that hurt the most. I lived on half a heartbeat, waiting for yours to meet mine. You stayed just long enough to keep me in the light. Love should be louder than doubt, but you whispered when it mattered. Now I'm left with echoes of things we never said. You laughed like nothing hurt inside, touched my hand and looked aside. Every word you said was smooth and kind, but your silence spoke a darker line. I tried to believe in the warmth you gave, but shadows lingered behind each wave. You kissed me like a gentle breeze, but your heart was somewhere I couldn't reach. Your smile was a mask you wore so well, hiding a story you never tell. I danced in a dream that never was mine. Now I see through the painted line. You stayed like someone passing through, shared the night but never the truth. You called me home but stood at the door. I was loving while you kept the score. I held on hoping you'd turn around, but secrets echoed without a sound. You spoke of forever with trembling lips, but I was sinking in between your slips. Your smile was a shield from the pain you knew. I searched for the light inside of you, but you closed the windows, drew the blinds, left me alone with unanswered signs. Now I stand in the quiet you left behind, learning the truth doesn't always shine. Sometimes love is a well-dressed ghost, fading fast when you need it most. Your smile was a mask you wore so well, hiding a story you never tell. I danced in a dream that never was mine. Now I see through the painted line. I saw your shadow move before your feet, a little too quiet when our eyes meet. You hold me like you're somewhere far away, like love's a script and we forgot the play. Your hands still warm, but your voice feels colder. The words you say like smoke over water. I wanted to believe in every touch, but something in the silence speaks too much. Whispers of deception in your breath, truth unraveling beneath your chest. You say forever like it's just a word, truth behind those tired eyes. Each kiss a pause between 1,000 lies. The weight of secrets pulling at your spine. You smile like you're running out of time. I asked for love, you gave me a disguise. Now I'm lost inside the spaces of your lies. Whispers of deception like a song playing in my head all night long. You paint a dream that cracks when I wake. How much can one broken heart take? Maybe you thought silence would protect me, but all it did was disconnect me. Now I see the truth you tried to hide. It's in the way you never said goodbye. Whispers of deception in your breath. Truth unraveling beneath your chest. You say forever like it's just a word, but I hear goodbye in the lines I've heard. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You smile like nothing had changed, but your hands were cold when they touched mine. You laughed like the world was the same, but your eyes told me you were somewhere else. I held on to every silence, tried to read between the lines. You didn't leave a message, but the quiet screamed goodbye. It wasn't what you said, it was what you didn't say. Like how you stopped calling me baby, or how you turned away. No final words, no curtain fall, just fading steps down the hallway. I heard the truth in what you didn't say. I replayed each little moment, the long pause before you kissed me. You said you were just tired, but it felt like you were already gone. I begged for some confession, but you chose to drift instead. You didn't have to lie, because you said nothing instead. It wasn't in your voice, it was in the space between, where love used to echo softly. Now it's empty and unseen. No argument, no reason why, just a slow unraveling day by day. I saw the end in what you didn't say. Maybe silence was your mercy, maybe words would have made it worse, but I still wish you said something, even if it had to hurt. It wasn't what you said, it was what you didn't say. Like how you stopped calling me baby, or how you turned away. No final words, no curtain fall, just fading steps down the hallway. I heard the truth in what you didn't say. I watched the way your eyes looked down when you said my name. Like like you were reading lines from a script you barely knew. Your hands were warm, but your touch was colder than the rain. And your voice felt close, but your heart was out of view. I told myself maybe I'm just overthinking, that love sometimes wears a disguise. But in the silence your truth kept sinking deeper than your well-dressed lies. You said you never meant to hurt me, but you left the light on while you disappeared. I stood alone in the space between the words I longed to hear and the ones I feared. You painted comfort with shades of fiction, told me just enough to hold on to. I was drowning in the space between your lies and my truth. You smiled with lips that trembled under every kiss, and your laugh was just a little too careful to be real. The way you held me felt like something you might miss, but only when no one else could see or feel. I wanted to believe love was still breathing, that the silence was just a phase. But honesty is not so deceiving, it doesn't hide or walk away. You said you never meant to hurt me, but you left the light on while you disappeared. I stood alone in the space between the words I longed to hear and the ones I feared. You painted comfort with shades of fiction, told me just enough to hold on to. I was drowning in the space between your lies and my truth. Now I don't hate you, but I finally see the mask you wore was love's apology. You broke me softly with the things you wouldn't say, but silence taught me how to wait. Said you never meant to hurt me, but you left the light on while you disappeared. I stood alone in the space between the words I longed to hear and the ones I feared. You painted comfort with shades of fiction, told me just enough to hold on to. I was drowning in the space between your lies and my truth. You said it was nothing, just tired and quiet, but your hands were shaking when you turned away. The air between us whispered too loud, and silence told me more than words could say. I replay every second inside my head, every breath you held back, every word unsaid. Echoes don't lie when the night goes still. I hear what you meant beneath your will. You smiled but your heart stayed cold and dry. You tried to hide it, but echoes don't lie. Your perfume lingers like a haunted truth, soft and sweet, but it cuts straight through. I traced your shadow in the morning light, still chasing answers in the fading night. You touched me like you were already gone, like loving me was something done too long. Echoes don't lie when the past won't fade. I hear every step that you didn't take. You spoke in riddles, left me asking why, but the walls remember and echoes don't lie. The truth doesn't scream, it waits in the still, it hides in the space. space that silence fills. No need for goodbye or a final try. I've heard the truth in the echoes cry. Echoes don't lie when the night goes still. I hear what you meant beneath your will. You smile but your heart stayed cold and dry. You try to hide it but echoes don't lie. I waited for your voice in the stillness of the night, hoping you reach out and pull me back from the edge. But the room stayed cold and your eyes turned away, like a story that ended before the last page. I kept replaying every word you didn't say, looking for meaning in the silence you gave. Your quiet broke me louder than a scream. Every pause became a scar on my belief. You didn't need to lie or say goodbye. The silence said everything. Even love can disappear without a sound. It echoes loudest when no one's around. You left your truth between the lines. The silence said everything. I read the spaces between the things you wrote, 1,000 blanks more honest than your notes. I begged for something real beneath the calm, but you let it fade like a forgotten song. I asked for answers you refused to feel. Sometimes the truth is what you choose to conceal. You closed the door with a whisper, not a word, and all my dreams shattered without being heard. You didn't fight and you didn't stay. The silence said everything. I watched love fall in the quiet of the rain. Every drop spoke what you couldn't explain. No need for blame, no need to pretend. The silence said everything. Now I walk alone in echoes you left behind. No voice to haunt me, just the sound of your goodbye. I finally hear it clear, what I feel was always near. Your quiet broke me louder than a scream. Every pause became a scar on my belief. You didn't need to lie or say goodbye. The silence said everything. Even love can disappear without a sound. It echoes loudest when no one's around. You left your truth between the lines. The silence said everything. We used to trace our dreams in candlelight, whispering plans that never took flight. Hands felt warm, but your eyes looked away, like you were already halfway gone. I kept holding on to echoes of moments that never were whole. In your silence I read the truth, but I chose the comfort of rose. Love unfolded backward, like pages torn from the end. Each kiss a little colder, each promise learning to bend. We danced through illusions, believing what we pretended, till love rewound itself and quietly ended. You smiled in ways that felt rehearsed, each touch a shadow of thirst. I memorized your lies so well, they sounded like my own voice in time. I addressed the hurt in flowers, told myself it still blooms. torn from the end. Each kiss a little colder, each promise learning to bend. We dance through illusions, believing what we pretended, till love rewound itself and quietly ended. Painted love like a perfect scene, lines rehearsed but nothing in between. Eyes met mine but never stayed, like you were always 1 foot away. I memorized the lines you said, but your silence screamed instead. And in the quiet aftertouch, I wondered if I meant that much. Behind the curtain of us, there was fear dressed up as trust. Holding hands but not holding on, like the light in us was gone. We danced through a dream we made, but the truth began to fade. Behind the curtain of us, I stood alone with love. Your laughter echo without soul, like a song you didn't know. Moments felt like borrowed time, truth got lost between the lines. I gave you all my unmasked heart, but you kept yours in the dark. Now I see through the disguise, in the silence live goodbye. Behind the curtain of us, there was pain no words discussed. A kiss that felt like a lie, smiles just meant to pacify. We played roles we couldn't trust, in a script that turned to dust. Behind the curtain of us, I saw what we were. Maybe love was never blind, just too kind to call out the signs. Now the stage is bare and still, but I breathe and I feel. Behind the curtain of us, there was fear dressed up as trust. Holding hands but not holding on, like the light in us was gone. We danced through a dream we made, but the truth began to fade. Behind the curtain of us, I stood alone. Behind the curtain of us. I found a photograph inside my drawer. It held a moment we don't talk about no more. Your hand was near, but your heart so far. I saw the truth between the gentle scars. I used to chase the dreams we drew in sand, hoping love would understand. But shadows danced beneath our words, and silence told me what I heard. I'm holding on to fragments of the real, pieces of the love we try to feel. They shimmer like a truth we couldn't show, drifting in the places we won't go. Your voice still lingers in my quiet room, a tender sound wrapped in a fading tune. We smiled like everything was fine, but honesty was always out of time. I touched the lies like worn out threads, pulled from the things we never said. But deep inside I always knew the parts we lost were always true. I'm walking through the ruins of our days, where memories refuse to fade away. Each tear a mirror of what was concealed. I'm tracing love through fragments of the real. It wasn't all pretend or pain. We lived the truth inside the strain. Now in the stillness I begin to feel that even broken things can heal. I'm holding on to fragments of the real, pieces of the love we try to feel. They shimmer like a truth we couldn't show, drifting in the places we won't go. The room was quiet like the past had come alive. Your jacket on the chair like you never said goodbye. Coffee cold, untouched, the sunlight dull and gray. I blinked and felt you breathing just a breath away. But it was only the echo of a love that slipped through, only the shadow of the truth I never knew. I woke up in a memory where you still held me close, in that soft delusion where we never let go. Your voice was a whisper I could almost feel, but it faded like smoke before I knew it was real. The mirror caught a glance of who I used to be, wearing all the stories that you left inside of me. I reached for the silence thinking it might speak, but silence told the secrets I was too afraid to seek. And I remembered the look you gave when words weren't true. The quiet between us knew what I couldn't undo. I woke up in a memory that never really slept, where the truth wore perfume and the lies were kept. I kissed the dream goodbye, though it tasted sweet. Now I walk in the present with the ache at my feet. Time doesn't heal what it chooses to repeat, and love doesn't end, it just changes the beat. I carried your ghost till I learned how to see. The mirror held me, not you, not we. I woke up in a memory where you still held me close, in that soft delusion where we never let go. Your voice was a whisper I could almost feel, but it faded like smoke before I knew it was real. You held me close, but looked away. Your silence louder than the words you'd say. I painted hope on broken glass. That love like ours was built to last. But shadows moved behind your smile, and I ignored the signs for a while. I wanted dreams, was never really there. You said you loved me with your lips, but your soul was always adrift. Now I know the hardest part is hearing truth tear through the heart. You told me lies in gentle ways, dressed them up in golden praise. I close my eyes to what I knew, because I couldn't face the truth of you. I stayed inside the tender light, where hurt was sweet and tears ran dry. But peace won't grow in borrowed light, and love can't live where there's no right. Truth doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't soften when you can't stand. It shakes the walls you built so high and leaves you alone with your why. You smiled and I believed too long. Now I see where I went wrong. The truth I ran from all this time was never cruel, just not divine. Still I breathe in this quiet space, learning grace from every trace of what we had and what was fake, and what it cost for me to wait. Truth isn't always kind, it doesn't come with warning signs. It cuts so deep and leaves you bare, reveals what was never really there. You said you loved me with your lips, but your soul was always adrift. Now I know the hardest part is hearing truth tear through the heart. You left no note, no last goodbye, just a fading scent of midnight rain. I searched for meaning in the quiet sky, but all I found was my own name. I replayed every silent night, hoping the echoes would make it right. But healing doesn't come from sound, it rises slowly from the ground. You never said you're sorry, but I don't need it now. The cracks became my story, and I stand without a vow. No closure in your silence, yet somehow I still grew. Mended without words, becoming someone new. I touched the ghosts you used to be, in places we both used to know. Your shadow never answered me, yet still I let the silence grow. I don't need your voice to see the truth that now lives inside me. Some wounds were never meant to fade, but I'm no longer afraid. You never tried to fix it, but I found peace instead. The pieces once conflicted, now hold me up instead. No need for explanations, no chapters left to write. Mended without words, and walking in my light. Sometimes goodbye is gentle, like a breath that disappears. Sometimes love dissolves to silence and leaves behind the years. But I carry no more sorrow, no need to understand. The silence shaped tomorrow and led me by the hand. I saw it in the way you didn't reach for me, in the pause between your breath and the words you couldn't speak. You look like someone who once loved me, but your silence had already left. We stayed too long in the echo of comfort, afraid of what the truth might break. But tonight the quiet was clearer than anything we ever said. There's a kind of peace in knowing that love doesn't always stay. You held the door like you meant it, and I didn't beg you to stay. No more pretending, no more need to try. There's honesty in goodbye. The clock kept ticking while our hearts stood still. Too many moments masked by I'm okay. I traced the outline of your shadow, already knowing you'd walk away. I whispered your name like a question, but your eyes were answering clear. We didn't shout, we didn't cry, just let the ending appear. It hurt, but it felt like freedom, a truth we couldn't hide. You loved me once with fire, now we leave without a lie. No need for blame, no reasons why. There's honesty in goodbye. All the words we never found are lying quiet on the floor. Sometimes leaving is the truest form of loving someone more. There's a kind of peace in knowing that love doesn't always stay. You held the door like you meant it, and I didn't beg you to stay. No more pretending, no more need to try. There's honesty in goodbye. I traced the lines I tried to hide. Memories linger where tears once dried. Your voice still floats in the morning haze, but it no longer decides my days. I used to break beneath the weight of every lie you couldn't say, but now I breathe a little deep. In silence I begin to heal. There's a soft light through my scars, not from you but from the stars. Wounds that held me in the dark now glow gentle in my heart. You left a mark but not the end. I found peace where I pretend. What once was pain became my art. A soft light through my scar. I don't erase what I became. The cracks remain, but not the shame. Your shadow fades behind the sun, and I'm no longer on the run. I thought I needed one last word, a final truth I never heard, but silence showed me something new. The healing never came from you. There's a strength behind quiet in the night, a map drawn only by the light. There's a soft light through my scars, not from you but from the stars. Wounds that held me in the dark now glow gentle in my heart. You left a mark but not the end. I found peace where I pretend what once was pain became art. A soft light through my scars. The mirror cracked when you walked away, left shards of love across the floor. I used to chase the way you stayed, even when you weren't here anymore. I counted tears like faded stars, hoping you'd return and mend the scars. But silence held a softer grace than all the words you couldn't face. I found peace in broken things, in the silence after all the screams. Picked up pieces one by one underneath the colder sun. Love didn't end the way I dreamed, but in the wreckage I could breathe. I learned to walk without your name. Echoes don't need sound to sting. Still feel the ghost inside the frame, but now I don't need everything. I stopped the war I fought alone, rebuilt my soul from skin and bone. The truth was harsh but made me whole. I found myself beyond control. I found peace in falling slow, letting go of what I'll never know. No more blame, no need to hide. I stand in calm where pain once cried. It wasn't love that set me free, but losing you returned me to me. Every fracture tells a tale of where I bled and didn't fail. The beauty lives in what remains, not in the perfect but in the change. I found peace in broken things, in the silence after all the screams. Picked up pieces one by one underneath the colder sun. Love didn't end the way I dreamed, but in the wreckage I could breathe. You spoke so soft, like nothing was wrong, but your touch felt colder each night. I held on tight to the warmth of your words, but shadows grew behind the light. I closed my eyes just to feel you near, pretended silence wasn't fear. But in the hush I heard the sound of something breaking underground. I chose the truth when the lies were sweet, when comfort begged me not to see. I let the silence speak to me and face the dark where I could breathe, even if it cut me through. I chose the truth. You said forever like a perfect song, but your rhythm never matched the beat. I danced alone in the space between what you gave and what I need. I searched your face for something real, but found reflections you concealed. And when the silence came again, it felt like losing more than friends. I chose the truth, though it burned like fire, though it meant the end of my desire. I let the pain strip me clean till only what was real remained in me. Even when I lost part of you, I chose the truth. No more guessing where I stand. No more dreams built on sand. I'd rather walk alone in rain than live a lie to hide the pain. I chose the truth when the lies were sweet, when comfort begged me not to see. I let the silence speak to me and face the dark where I could breathe, even if it cut me through. I chose the truth.